Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Chronicles. This is your host, Christian Paul speaking. Alright? This following episode here contains graphic content that may not be suitable for definitely children and some other viewers involved, which could involve graphic language, visual graphic content, and or both. Viewer discretion is advised.
I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary in abusive and cruel. You are not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There is no groceries. I'd be happy.
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes. How do you man? How do you man? Receive love and respect. No. How do you man? No, you're not taking the car.
Stephen,
You're not taking the car.
Stephen,
you are not.
then I will ask someone to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not about Stephen.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Stephen, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Stephen.
Like, I can't
Stephen.
go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
Stephen,
Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Stephen.
And making it work. Can you do that? The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline or respect.
Stephen.
There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Stephen.
Hillary,
Stephen?
you give up so easily. I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Stephen, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Stephen, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it, you go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right. We're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife. Hillary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to it. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? No, you take Betty.
You know, the situation with Stephen and Hillary actually reminded me to take a trip down memory lane, right? The year was 2011 in the around the Philadelphia suburbs, right? I was up by my uncle's house at the time, actually resided with him for the summer while doing a research assistantship project up by the University of Delaware, up by Newark, Delaware. Where they live is like around 45 minutes to an hour away from Philadelphia, so they're literally on like the outer edge of the suburbs. And how basically my uncle and my aunt basically run their household due to the fact that they have their stuff all structured out and set up. My uncle mainly is the vice president of a company that handles nuclear weapons for the United States government, and his wife, my aunt, is basically mainly a stay-at-home mother stay-at-home wife for the past couple of decades, and they currently have a successful 31-year marriage. They've been married since 1992. Prior to my aunt being a stay-at-home wife, she was actually working for a bunch of marketing companies. She does have her bachelor's in marketing, for what we know, and she's been working for various reps, actually doing marketing, doing various research based on certain products and really the whole 9 yards. Unfortunately, she would have to be dealing with my uncle's moves basically on promotion to promotion via various locations, to the fact they had to be actually reapplying to various jobs just to make sure that she stayed with him. So much so that it became a nuisance, she ended up becoming a stay-at-home wife as a result. And they discussed things with one another, actually trying to come up with plans and how can we actually set these things up financially. How can we keep these structures going? What do we do? Should we choose to have children? Live the whole 9 yards. And they end up birthing a daughter who's now 26 and a son who is now 22, right? And they've been raising them very, very well ever since. They've been wonderful parents, very strict parents, as I actually felt during my time spent with them. But dealing with being a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home parent, I cannot imagine the difficulties that they would have to deal with when it comes to running their household, when it comes to handling finances, dealing with certain errands that they have to run, getting up at a certain time just to try to make ends meet, trying to make sure everything has their own stuff covered basically whenever their significant other gets home, so they can actually try to cover their six and try to make sure everything is all well prepared, well ordered. It is not easy. It is not easy at all. They have to actually try, not only you have to worry about the stuff that they have up in the household, they have to worry about some of the stuff they have to schedule when it comes to their kids, right? What type of practice does he have? Like, what type of sports activities do he have to actually go by so I can actually attend? What type of meetings do I have to actually attend with for the schools? You know, what needs to be done? All the school politics they actually come by. That type of job is literally like a full-time job in itself, literally being a stay-at-home parent. More so a stay-at-home wife. And one of the things that my aunt basically has taught me in certain aspects when it comes to communication, which I mainly struggle with these whole ordeals, is that your words and how you speak, how you discuss things, how you explain, matters a way whole lot than the point that you're literally trying to deliver when it comes to a lot of people, especially with a lot of women, right? And it literally hit me with a ton of bricks. And when she said that, at first, I'm like, I can just actually speak directly. I can just actually be concise, get the words out. Hey, no big deal. Until when you actually speak to certain folks, when you actually try to learn how to read the temperature of the room, when you speak with women, when you're actually trying to get out with them and actually try to date them, when you deal with subtle cues that you have to write notes down, you have to try to read them out and learn more about indirect and direct communication, which I've basically been struggling for the majority of my life. And certain words that I basically was trying to explain and trying to get my point out, so it ended up being backfired and unfortunately impacted my sister in a way that she felt disgust towards me, and I take full responsibility for it. It definitely hit me with a ton of bricks, and it definitely really woke me the fuck up, literally down to the whole degree, right? What Stephen and Hillary is basically going through is Stephen not really reading the temperature of the room, given their scenario, given the fact that Hillary's really pregnant with 8-month-old twins, right, around the time of the recording, and they're actually doing well right now as we speak. And that's what led the whole ordeals, due to the fact that once they have the 8-month-old twins actually being born, Stephen leaving the house, him actually hiring a divorce attorney, which led to Hillary filing for divorce first, right? All the way up in the first place. The more I want to actually try to get to it, and I'll try and leave the whole situation out for a different day, I want to really stress this, okay? You cannot speak to women in this type of manner the way that Stephen is actually doing. If you have concerns, if you have certain issues that you actually want to try and lay out on why stuff hasn't really gotten done, just go talk with your wife. Have a very civil conversation. Try to sit her down and Ask her if she's okay, if there's any other issues and what needs to be done, and let her lay it all out. And then express your issues and be blunt and direct on what you really need her to actually do, right? If she's not able to do it based on concerns and constraints, she can actually try to provide with other ways to try and make things easy for her to actually perform the task that needs to be done. Or just do similar stuff like do some takeout or like go through Instacart, go get the stuff up there and have them delivered by your door so that there's less pressure on her end while she's carrying a child, right? And when they're coming to term with like 8 months, 9 months, the more stress that woman incurs, especially when it comes to birthing children and developing humans up inside her body, the more the stress is kind of towards them, the more likely it's going to definitely affect their birth and could literally be on the risk of miscarriage if they are not careful, God forbid, right? So it's very, very, very important to make sure that you communicate in like a thorough, precise manner that's civil, that's discreet, and with a calm and stoic tone. So that's actually more respectful, basically, to your wife. And also, you gotta make sure with like on the women's side of things, you can't be belittling your husband or even your boyfriend, literally to point up all the way up in public and literally trying to blow him out his name and certain words could literally trigger the guy as well. Also, to that said, also, right? Again, even though men and women are not equal in anatomy, basically they're wired very different from one another based on how they operate with organs. Women still bleed the same as men, which we know. Women can take rejection a lot much harsher than men, which at least as harsh as men do. Women in certain cases, they have their own gut feelings just like the men do. They just wired a little bit differently. Men and women do deserve to be treated equally, right? They do provide equal impact on one another once the relationship actually come by and when they're linked together. They do deserve a yin and a yang. They basically have like complements basically with one another. They deserve to be treated equal, right? If a woman wants to be treated equal, treat them equal. If a man wants to be treated equal, treat them equal. But also understand, the whole ordeal between that woman and that man, they're not going to be literally fully the same like all the way throughout. You know what I mean? You just got to have like literally the yin and yang combination. But then again, maybe I shouldn't even speak too much on this stuff. Maybe I shouldn't actually dig too much into the whole ordeal since I'm not personally in like a relationship in myself as well. I've yet to deal with these types of things literally on like more of like a very deeper atmosphere. So I could basically try to explain it in this manner. But regardless, you have to learn how to read the temperature of the room, especially when it comes with relationships, and especially when it comes with business, especially when it comes with environments, actually trying to actually get to know somebody or actually trying to do some stuff with them, depending on what they're tolerant with and what they're not tolerant with. You have to actually learn how to pick up and practice these subtle cues so that you'll be able to try to move accordingly and not really make the same fuck ups that Steven has basically made. And one more thing before I actually leave and close this out. I know the whole 80% divorce rate is mainly filed by women. I see Coach Greg Adams and some of his points that he actually states and like how a woman can try to marry you for a while and actually automatically divorce you. It's a lot deeper than you mainly think. There could be so many variables. There could be so many reasons as to why women can file for divorce 80% of the time. And I will get to those data and statistics as to how that literally came to be literally in the weeks ahead. But this is one of many examples as to why women would file divorce 80% of the time. Look at that example right there, literally between Steven and Hillary, and you may get one of the many fixes why. It's a very, very great topic. It's very, very, very deep. And it also just comes to show when it comes to the moral of the situation that you have to treat folks with the same level of respect as you would like to be treated. Okay? Even though they're not virtually the same and every person is very different and every person is very unique in their various ways, they're not really fully the same as you, that does not mean that they do not to be deserved to be treated equally. They do deserve to be treated equally under the law. And I will definitely leave that stuff at that. Chris and Paul from the Nerd Chronicles will be signing out. Good night.